So today we dry docked the Uss Fitzgerald, and the purpose for dry docking is to do assessments and repairs to the ship that we can't do waterborne. So dry docking is a process where we take the ship into the dry dock. We flood the dry dock up to the water level of the ocean, and then we have a caisson, which is essentially a wall that we put in place in front of the caisson, or in front of the dock once the ship is in. And we sink the caisson down to the dock floor, and then we have pumps that start to dewater the dock. And as the water level comes down in the dock, the ship comes down with it. And beforehand, we had built wooden blocks to support the ship once the water level drained down sufficiently and the ship lands on the blocks. You're right, there are many organizations that participate in dry docking evolutions. We probably have well over 100 people involved from beginning to end, making sure that the ship is in a safe condition to go into dock, and then also to actually bring the ship into dock. There's many parties involved. No, so there's quite an involved process prior to going to dock. First, like you mentioned, we'll take the fuel off, and then we'll start to take the water off the ship. And while we're doing that, we're looking at the list and trim of the ship to put water in certain places in the ship so that we know that it's safe enough to cross into the dock, that we're not going to hit the dock floor, and then also that the ship doesn't weigh too much when we land on the blocks, that we don't crush any blocks. So if we were to just straight dewater the dock, it would take us about 3 hours, but since we do have the ship in dock, we take our time to make sure that we're exactly where we need to be. Overall, the whole evolution to dewater the dock takes about 7 hours. So once the dock is dry, myself and the dock master and the shop workers will go down and make sure that there's no abnormalities that we didn't expect. The ship's force will also do an inspection of the hull, make sure that there's nothing there that we don't expect to see. The shop will then start to wedge up any blocks in case we need to make a little bit more contact. But overall, we're just making an initial assessment that we landed safely on the blocks and there's nothing there that we don't expect to see. And then once that's complete, then the assessments and repairs that come from those assessments can get started. So SRF stands for Ship Repair Facility. There's 2 locations, one here in Yokosuka, Japan, and then one in Sasebo. So it's a workforce made up of U.S. Navy, U.S. CS, and Japanese. So the shop workers are all Japanese, and they're the ones that I work with, and the dock master is also Japanese, and he and I work hand in hand to make sure that the ship comes in safely and lands safely when we come into dock.